Hey guys, my name is Kel from Zombie Slayer SFX, and this is my entry into the Australian NYX Face Awards. If you like what you just saw, let me show you how it's done.
The first thing we're going to make is a prosthetic, but I'm not using clay. I'm actually going to do this with cotton balls and latex. Now, I'm going to be using a face cast of my face for this, but you can do it on a plate. The face cast just helps to make it perfect for you. What else I'm going to be using is a sponge. You can use a paint sponge thing like that, and you can use tongue depressors and things like that. I'll also be using my fingers for this, as you'll see, and some powder later on, but you'll see what that's for. Let's get started. The first thing I need to do is get a reference image, so just Google the kind of thing that you want. I ended up with that one that you saw, that's from NYX Effects. And I'm just going to roughly mark out just using dots with a marker on my face cast where I need it. Then I'm going to layer down some latex just to create a base to adhere my cotton balls. It doesn't have to be neat, doesn't even have to be inside the lines. In fact, it's better if it's not, to give you something to apply later, because you want the edges to be really thin. Soak the cotton balls in latex as much as you can. You'll see soon that I kind of give up with the sponge and just use my fingers because it's so much easier to shape it and manipulate the cotton balls where I need it. Just soak it in latex and they become really malleable. So I've just created a rough shape for the cheeks, and then I'm going to do the chin area and then let it dry. Smooth down the edges as much as you possibly can. Once it's dry, powder it around. This will stop it from being sticky and also shiny. And then we're going to find an area where we can lift up, and again, lots of powder. Otherwise the latex tends to roll up on itself. You can see here that I've got the edges a lot bigger than what the marking was that I wanted. This will help me adhere it later and you'll see that. Now I'm going to make the ears. You'll need some craft wire, masking tape, latex, some faux fur, and also some colours, but you'll see that later. I'm going to take a couple of pieces of wire and bend them into the shape of an ear with a little bit at the bottom so I can adhere it to my wig cap, wig or hair with bobby pins later. Nice and flat out. I'm going to make 2 of those and then completely cover them in masking tape. This gives the ears a lot of rigidity and allows me to manipulate them however I want. I've covered them in masking tape here, and as you can see, you can sort of move them around and shape them however you want to. Now we need to cover these in latex. This will give that masking tape a skin look rather than it looking like you've taped up wire onto your head. Plus the latex, I find, even though it is clear, it dries kind of yellowy as you saw with the face mask. So it really does have a very skin-like look to it. Now I'm going to take some of the faux fur. You always cut it with the backside up, otherwise you'll be in a lot of mess. And I'm just going to rip parts of it off. You'll find that the edges kind of come away easily before you need to start snipping off fur. I got plenty here because we're going to use these on the backs of the ears. You don't need too much because you're not really going to see the back. It's just going to be sticking out from the sides. I'm going to cover the back in latex, and then I'm just going to lay the fur in sort of odd manners and sort of sticking out everywhere to make it look puffy from the back. It's really messy and you might have to be pretty patient with this. I made a huge mess and I got really sticky. I had fur sticking to my hands and the table and it was really frustrating, but just stick with it and you'll end up with two ears that look like this. Now I've got to the side there some pink water-based paint. I'm just powdering the back because it stuck to the table. As you can see, latex was everywhere. I did not wait for it to dry. Please wait for it to dry. That's just some pink water-based paint and I'm going to be covering the inside, but I've also got this NYX cream-based blush which I used as a different colour as well. Now I'm going to be powdering the inside of the ears to make the shine go away from that blush and water-based paint. I've got some pink hairspray here that I sprayed on the white wig that I'm using, and I'm just making it blend in with the ears because my wig has pink on it, so I put pink on the ears as well. Now I'm making a prosthetic for my neck. I've blended in here some latex and flour. You can also use baby powder. And I'm cutting this carrot in half after making a base on a plate for the prosthetic. I'm going to be doing this with both halves of the carrot, and I've also done it with an egg as well. I've only shown you this carrot, this half, because it's the same method for all of them. I've blobbed in some latex paste in the middle, so the flour and latex mixture, and I'm basically going to smooth down the edges here, and then I'm going to just stick the carrot in the middle, making sure those edges are smooth and as thin as possible so they can blend into my skin later. I'm using the sponge to create a stipply action around the outside because I feel like it blends in a lot better. As you can see, the latex paste is built up a lot, so it looks like the carrot's sticking out of raised skin rather than a carrot on flat skin, and I think it just gives a really good effect. You do the same thing as here with the other half of the carrot, and I actually cut a styrofoam egg in half and did the same thing. I made a lip on the top there to make it look like it was really sticking out of my skin as well. But just fiddle with it and play with it until it's how you like it, and then let it dry. Here I am, all make-upped, and let's take our glasses off and take that makeup off so we can have a really good application of the latex. I didn't worry too much about my eyes because the eyes can be really messy. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to be painting anyway, but where the latex is, I need to make sure that there's no foundation on my face. Well, yeah, as I said, those are the other prosthetics, and the first thing I'm going to apply is the nose prosthetic. What I need to do is trim the outside, and I've lost my scissors, there they are. And we're going to trim the outside. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than what I need it to be, but it's easier to cut down than not have enough to adhere and have like a flat kind of edge that you can see. I decided to cut the bottom lip off the prosthetic so I could freely move my lower jaw to talk and eat and things like that, and it's a lot more comfortable too, but it's a lot more work to blend everything in. Now I've just taken a cream-based colour and I'm just going to mark where the prosthetic lies on my face so I know where to put the latex. I'm also going to put latex on the inner side of the prosthetic, paying close attention to the edges. When I'm laying latex down on my face, I'm also going outside of those areas where I need latex, just a little bit so I can make sure that the edges are definitely stuck down. And you can see here I'm paying a lot of attention to the edges. You really need those to stick down. If they stick down really nicely, it's going to give you a really good transition between the prosthetic and your skin. Now, my eyes are really red and watery here because I'm allergic to latex. Now, it's not an anaphylactic reaction, I actually just get kind of rashy and itchy with latex, so it's not that bad, but still, you should always do patch tests before using latex on your skin, especially on your face, and pay very close attention and be very careful when working around your eyes. Trust me when I say you don't want this stuff in your eyes, it is not a fun experience. as I'm laying down the prosthetic, I'm going around the edges as well to start blending it out. Now time for the bottom jaw. I did put some teeth in here before I attached the lower jaw in the same way. I'm also going around the edges of my prosthetic to blend them in. Every time that layer dries, I put in another layer until I'm happy with the blend between the prosthetic and my skin. The teeth ended up coming out, as you can see here, and I've applied all the prosthetics in the same way. Where my hair was, I used bobby pins to attach the top egg prosthetic to my wig cap and hair. Here I'm going to be painting the prosthetic. I decided to go with a white bunny rabbit kind of style with pink contouring. My camera kept freezing at this point, so I kind of missed a little bit out, and I do apologize, but I will show you where I've put the pink. When my camera freezes, you'll see in a second it does cut out. But again, with the prosthetics, they're all applied in the same way. So you can see I've got the pink there. I've done in contour areas around the nose, around the cheek, and hollowed out my eyes with it as well. Gone back in with some white. I'm just using water-based paints here. You can use grease-based paints, water-based paints, whatever you want, whatever works best for you. I'm just adding in more pink, more shading everywhere where you'd contour, and around my eyes and my brows as well. I decided to powder it all to not only set it, but to blend in the white and the pink as well. I haven't done a great job on the egg there. I wanted it actually to look really irritated and gross, so I kind of left the latex a bit bubbly there. Here I'm just adding some irritation around where the carrot is poking out of my neck and where the egg is popping out of my head. So just some light red orangey wash, because this will simulate irritation and where blood is going to go. Here I'm using black to make everything more defined and adding some dirtiness to my face as well. I figured if I had a carrot sticking out of my neck and an egg in my head, I would probably be a tad dirty. I'm using the black to define my nose and where my whiskers would be as well. I was going to do wire whiskers, but decided against it. I thought the wire might be a bit much. Here I'm using spirit gum to attach some of that faux fur. Now do not, please do not use spirit gum unless you have spirit gum remover. Spirit gum is a special effects adhesive that needs a special remover to remove and take off. It is a pain in the butt. Yes, soap and water can get it the majority of the way off, but it was a pain in the butt, and I tried my best to get it off in the shower, but I really did need the remover to get it off completely. But spirit gum is otherwise safe to use on your face to adhere prosthetics, so if you don't have all that much latex, you can use spirit gum to attach your prosthetics as well. But make sure you have the remover. Now the teeth were a pain because the prosthetics kind of kept shoving them out of the way. And where you can see the fur there, I've just got them over my brow, over the cheeks, things like that, and on my chin. I wanted to keep it pretty minimal. This is just a cheap wig, and I'm just attaching the ears to the top, kind of sticking it through and bobby pinning it down where those little feet came off. Now the fun part, to add some blood. Now this is my own blood that I make myself. I've got some runny blood there, and I've also got some thick blood. It's actually my fizzle gel. This is what I'm putting on now in the colour blood. And you'll see why I call it fizzle gel soon, because I also have fizzle gel in the colour rabies, which you will see in a moment too. Now I only really put blood all along the carrot on the pointy bit because I figured that's the bit that went through my neck, and the other side probably wouldn't be as covered in blood. And this is the finished result. Thank you for watching my entry into the NYX Face Awards Australia 2017. I hope you've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned a little something something about making a dead rabbit for Easter. Yay! Please stay tuned to the Zombie Slayer SFX for more cool videos. And check out NYX.com because there's some awesome makeup there. Thanks a lot. Bye!